Hi, I'm Jalen Johnson. I'm a producer here at FETV. Today I bring you 4, which is Focus on Redmond, Episode 2. To start things off, we have Tyler Young interviewing the swim coach, Mrs. Fleming. Go ahead, Tyler.
I became the new swimming coach because, first of all, I love sports and I think they're a crucial part of high school, and swimming is my favorite sport personally, so when the position came available, I was really excited to try. Swimming is different than any other sport because it is a team sport, but it's also very individualized, so it gives swimmers the feeling of being on a team, but also pushing yourself to do better. And not that you don't do that on a team, but you really have no one else to blame, for example, when you don't do well in an individual event because you're the only person in that event. Oh, it is a great sport. Cardio is awesome. It works every muscle, so really it's one of the better sports for your overall health. Everything? I think for me personally, watching the swimmers grow is awesome. I hope for them the funnest thing is being on a team and encouraging each other, but also seeing their growth throughout the season. This year, for Fostoria, we had 5 new people, and for San Luis, we had 2. As a total, we had 17 people with Fostoria and San Luis. We had a lot of new kids this year, and I would say overall they did awesome. I think your idea of swimming when you first started is different than what your idea is at the end, but the growth was just amazing, and watching them be able to do, some of them started with barely being able to do a whole lap, and then doing a 200, which is 8 laps. Well, I think it's important to know that we swim at the YMCA, but also we are doing lifting this year as well. So you have 2 nights a week that you have to be lifting. You're practicing 5 days a week, and then we also have our meets on Saturdays. So it is a big commitment. Goal setting, that's really important, and I think it's helpful once you have your first meet. You have your first official time, and then every time after that, we try to get a better goal to improve each week. I think flip turns are one of the easier things to do that people at first when they see it think are really hard, but then by the end of the year everybody was doing flip turns. I think that for me that was exciting. I think the most difficult thing is breathing, which I don't think people really think about when they're thinking of swimming, but when you're swimming competitively, your goal is to really breathe as little as possible, so training yourself how to do that is probably the hardest part. I am Coach Fleming and I approve this message.
Thank you, Tyler. That was great. Now we have Chase Sheets. He is interviewing Mr. Howenstein, our new math teacher. Go ahead, Chase.
Hi, I'm Matt Howenstein. I'm a teacher of mathematics at Fostoria Junior Senior High School. My career goals as an algebra teacher obviously would be continue teaching algebra. Don't want to get fired too early. Just continue, get better every year. I enjoy teaching at the high school level, at the middle school level. I enjoy the school setting. If time came and I maybe felt like getting into teaching at a college, I would be interested in that as well. But I do enjoy teaching, so I guess my career goals in this field would just be to continue and be successful at it. My influences for being a teacher, I would say I had some teachers in high school that I really enjoyed. I had a pre-cal teacher that I enjoyed a lot. She was very nice, she was fun in class, and she set high expectations for you, which as a student, when you know teachers want you to do the best and they set these high expectations, it forces you to work harder. And they support you along the way, and I enjoyed her, and that's when I kind of knew I wanted to be a teacher, and she was one of the biggest influences. Obviously I had other teachers I enjoyed. I had English teachers that I liked that made the classroom fun, and it was open to a lot of different discussions, so that would be one. The students I like to work with the most are students that are easygoing, not too stuck up, not too quiet, not too crazy, I guess. I enjoy people that ask questions, that answer questions, that they don't have to have fun in the classroom, although I'd like that, but enjoy being there, that enjoy learning, that understand the value of learning. Like I said, they don't have to enjoy the math, but if they understand the importance of the math, that's what I like. So I like kids that come to me and ask questions, that question me, that want me to explain things to them, because that tells me that they want to be there and they want to succeed. Hopefully, the students say, I'm a good teacher, obviously. I care about that. Whether or not they say they like me, that's up to them. I'm not here to be liked. I want the students to respect me, to see, oh, Mr. H, he's a good teacher. He wants me to do well. He wants me to succeed, and he sets me up to succeed. But I don't have any goals of being the coolest teacher in the school or the most liked teacher in the school. I want to be the teacher that the kids know helps the kids pass on to the next grade, helps them to succeed. I feel that sometimes parents may not know what's going on with their kids at school. Kids have a great way of bending the truth or just omitting the truth to their parents. So sometimes your contact with the parent may be their only communication with what their son or daughter is doing in the school. For instance, I made some phone calls recently to parents and they had no idea what their student was doing in school. They don't have a password to the school's progress book, so their communication with me was the only information they had on what their kid was doing. So I think it's important just at least touch base 1-2 times a year with each student's parent, just so they know, hi, I'm their teacher, this is my expectations for them. If they have any questions, they know how to contact me. But sometimes they rely on the teacher to get to them because maybe they don't have the ability to contact you. They know that you have expectations for them, and hopefully they are aware when they come into the classroom, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is how I'm supposed to act. But sometimes in the moments where you're not doing anything actively, which any teacher can find themselves doing in, whether that's checking attendance or in the process of creating something, there's going to be those down times, and that's where students tend to lose themselves in conversations around the room. But just keep the students on their toes, keep them goal-oriented, keep having them providing something for them to do at all times, especially with our blocks in our school that are an hour and a half long. You've got to keep them moving, because if they're stagnate, that's when people start throwing things at each other, for instance. I chose to become a teacher. It wasn't something I chose. I knew immediately when I was in school. I wasn't a freshman and said, oh, I want to be a teacher in 4 years. I thought about things I enjoyed. I enjoyed being in school. I enjoyed being with friends. I enjoyed communicating with teachers, shooting the bull with them, I guess, learning new things, bettering myself. And I came to a point where, I enjoy being in school. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed multiple subjects. Maybe teaching was for me. And I also knew that, I enjoyed coaching. And the easiest way to be a coach was to be a teacher. So, it goes hand in hand. And coaching is another form of teaching. So I went to school. And when you get to college, you kind of realize, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? And I knew when I was in college that, I'm going to enjoy this. And currently, I enjoy this. The biggest thing, and this goes to really all subjects, is that you've got to challenge them with critical questions. You have to make them use their minds. You have to make them think about something. Any student can answer 2 + 2, right? We know that's 4. But when you use application style questions that relate to what they do day to day, you challenge them mentally. You make them think about things intuitively. You make them understand things better by doing that. And if you can challenge these students critically and make them use their critical thinking skills, that gets them engaged, that gets them thinking, that helps you get a wide range of responses, because every student thinks differently and each student's going to have different responses to any given question. Well, I've applied to a lot of schools in my time coming out of college. They don't make it very clear about how easy or difficult it is to get a teaching job, depending on what your standards for the job are. I applied a lot of places, and obviously I applied at Fostoria. I was aware of Fostoria as a school. We didn't know much about it when I applied. You do a little research, you look on the Ohio State grade cards and stuff like that. But my real opportunity to learn about Fostoria was in my first interview, and I talked to the staff, and the staff seemed very nice. Principal, Mr. Ballman, he was a very sociable person, and we got along, and all the other teachers, Mr. Daring and Mr. Sierra was in my interview, and I enjoyed them. I knew I could understand the goals they wanted for the school, and that got me interested in the job. So when they offered it to me, I thought about it. Like, do I like the place? The school is an okay school. They got everything I need as a teacher. The staff is very nice. So I'm going to take the job. And that's how I decided on it. So every teacher has their own rules of discipline. I think depending on your mood as a teacher, that can influence your levels of discipline. Now, I'm more of an easygoing guy, and I let some things slide because I can tolerate certain things that maybe other people can't. But I think you have to keep it in reason. Now, every class has a different level of height that you can let them get to in terms of their own discipline. Some classes you have to be more disciplined for. Other classes, depending on the students, you can let them slide with more because they work better in certain environments. Right? If you let kids be themselves and have a little fun, they'll do more for you. Right? You make it a more easygoing atmosphere, and they'll open up more to you. But some students, some classes need more strict, hammer down rules. And I think you got to set that clear at the very beginning of the year. This class I'm allowed to get to this point. This other class I'm allowed to get to another point. And you just gotta have to find that healthy medium that you can operate as a teacher and your students can also operate in. Right? Every student learns a different way. Some students can take notes for an hour and a half, and that's all they need. Right? It makes sense to them, it computes them, they see the words, they see the numbers, and it makes sense. Other students, you have to present things visually to, and whether that's just writing it on a board, right, seeing you do it, or perhaps seeing another student do it, that's how they learn. Because sometimes maybe I can't put things into the right words that maybe if another student, a peer of theirs, came in and talked about, they could understand what they were saying better. So you have to use all these different ways, whether it's, for instance, talking about geometry, using shapes or big solids to demonstrate things like finding area or volume. Or if it's just showing a video, right? You've got to have all these different types of media, because I could show a video, and if it talks about different things, ideas of mathematics, that may compute because maybe the video relates the content to something in their everyday life. So that's good. But you've got to have, or at least I feel that you have to integrate all of those things into teaching. So note-taking skills, homework skills, being able to see something visually and interpret that. So I think the best way is just using all those aspects and finding what works for that content.
Well, that's all that we have for you today here at 4 Focus on Redmond. Hope to see you next time, and thank you, and have a wonderful day.